I did it! Oh, hi everyone! Happy April 1st, also known as April Fool's Day. You may see there are a few unusual things around my house right now, including you being in my house right now. But I would like to read you an April Fool's story, since I would be doing that if we were all together on the mat right now. So, it is called Arthur's April Fool and is written by Mark Brown. It was the last day of March. The joke shop was full of people getting ready for April Fool's Day. Arthur and Buster tried out everything. Buster bought sneezing powder. Arthur got a fake telescope that gave whoever looked through it a black eye. Oh, that didn't happen to me, did it? But Arthur didn't feel like playing jokes. He just kept thinking about Binky Barnes. "Who is Binky Barnes?" asked Buster. "Picture King Kong. Now double it," said Arthur. "He keeps threatening to punch me out." Not a very kind person. The next day, Arthur was practicing magic tricks with Buster and Francine for the April Fool's assembly. "Hey, shrimp!" A giant shadow covered them. "I'll show you a trick," said Binky Barnes. He grabbed Arthur's favorite pen and put it into his pocket. "Now you see it, now you don't," said Binky. "Hey, watch it," said Arthur, trying to look brave. "Why don't you make me?" said Binky, and walked away. "Pick on someone your own size," called Francine, "like Godzilla." "Wow," said Buster, "you were right. He's going to pulverize you." That's a big word. That night at dinner, Arthur hardly ate anything. He didn't finish his cheeseburger. He didn't even want chocolate cream pie. "What's the matter with Arthur?" asked his father. "He's worried about getting pulverized," said D.W. "Maybe he's been watching too many outer space movies," said his mother. Later on, D.W. barged into Arthur's room. "Good night, Mr. Universe," she said. "Haven't you ever heard of knocking?" asked Arthur. "After you get pulverized, can I have your room?" she asked. "Beat it, D.W." When Arthur finally fell asleep, he had nightmares. The next morning, Francine offered Arthur a cookie. "Yuck," said Arthur. "It tastes like soap and toothpaste. April Fool," laughed Francine. But Arthur was too worried to laugh. "I'll never remember my magic tricks for the assembly today," he said. "Calm down," said Buster. "I'll be your assistant. I'll help if you get stuck." Arthur felt a little bit better. He could count on Buster. But just before the assembly, Buster got caught putting sneezing powder on Mr. Ratburn's desk. Instead of going to the assembly, Buster went to the principal's office. "I'll blow it for sure without Buster," thought Arthur. He walked into the auditorium. Who is sitting in the front row? Binky Barnes. This was going to be even worse than he thought. Arthur worried while Mr. Ratburn read people's minds. He worried while Francine and Muffy did shadow tricks. And he worried while the chorus sang that old black magic. Finally, it was his turn. "For my first magic trick," said Arthur, I'll need a volunteer." Binky Barnes jumped up on the stage. "Surprise, Pipsqueak," he whispered. Arthur gulped. Arthur asked Binky Barnes to tear up a sheet of paper and put it in his magic hat. He said the magic words and waved his magic wand to make the paper whole again. But rabbits came out instead. Everyone laughed. Arthur took a bow. By mistake, flowers fell out of his sleeve. Binky Barnes laughed harder than anyone. Then Arthur had an idea. He winked at Francine. "For my next trick, I will saw this young man in half," he said. Binky suddenly stopped laughing and took a step back. "My saw, please," said Arthur. Binky turned pale. And now the bucket to collect the blood. Now Binky screamed. He stepped back again. This time he fell right off the stage. Everyone laughed, even Mr. Ratburn. After the assembly, Arthur stopped Binky in the hall. "What's the matter, Binky? You left before I could show you my best trick." "No thanks," said Binky Barnes. "Are you sure?" "It lets you see things you've never seen before," said Arthur. "Really?" said Binky. He grabbed the telescope and pointed it at Francine. "I don't see anything." "Of course not," said Arthur. "You have to know the secret words." "Tell me," said Binky. "I can't," Arthur explained. "They're so secret I have to write them down. Backwards." "Do you have a pen?" "Sure, here," said Binky. Arthur wrote the words. "Now go home, hold the paper in front of the mirror, and you'll be able to read the secret words." "Aw, thanks, twerp," said Binky as he ran out the door. Binky Barnes has not been very kind. "Boy, that's your best trick ever," said Buster. "You didn't get pulverized, and you actually made Binky Barnes disappear." "What did you write?" asked Francine. This is the note that Arthur gave Binky. Now, hope you notice that it is spelled backwards. But if you copy this and put it in front of a mirror, I am wishing you a happy April Fool's Day. Now, I also am saying Mrs. Kogo says she misses you. So you could challenge yourself today to write some words backwards. Not that I want you to learn to write backwards all the time, but just for today. And put them in front of the mirror and see if you can read them. Or have mom or dad or big brother, big sister spell words for you and hold them in front of the mirror and see if you can read them. So that's all for now. Have a great day. Tune in later. Bye-bye.